Welcome to GG Radio. I'm your host, SiriusX, along with my buddy HazMatch. We got a banger for you here today, folks. We've got Xbox Showcase, so sit back, relax, grab yourself some popcorn as we are heading on down to the game zone.
Game zone, game zone, game zone, game zone, game zone.
What's going on, everybody? It's Sirius here. Just wanted to kind of give you guys a quick little speech on ourselves. Um, Actually, you know what? I'm not going to even do that. I'm going to give it over to HazMatch. What's up, man?
What's going on, buddy? Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here. How are you doing today?
Hanging in there. I am honestly excited. This is our first ever podcast. I feel like that this is going to be quite a podcast to get started with. I mean, we've got a lot of titles to kind of go over today. We've got Doom, we've got Mecha Break, Fable, and a lot more down the list here. So I think I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, definitely an impressive showcase for sure. There were some stinkers, but what was good was really good. But before we get to that, yeah, let's do a little intro. Let's tell the people what it is we're about. Would you like to start? You want me to start?
I'd go right ahead.
Alrighty, well, as previously stated, my name is HazMatch. I have been gaming as far back as my brain will let me remember. I started on the Game Boy Advance playing Pokemon, and I am now much older than that, years later, and pff, I honestly don't even know where to start on how much of an impact gaming has had on my life. It's brought me through a lot of dark times. It's been there in a lot of happy times. I tend to lean more towards like fighting games these days, but my favorite game of all time will always be Halo 2. Hands down, Halo 2.
Solid game.
Uh,
Solid game.
Solid game, brother. Solid game. Uh, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I'm a lifelong gamer.
I'm right. I'm right there with you. I've been gaming for gosh knows how long. I think I started out with my first ever Game Boy Advance as well. My main go-to game for that was um, Super Mario,
Nice.
and it just kind of went up from there. Just kind of continued to keep gaming. Really enjoyed it. You know, got Nintendo 64, NES, all that kind of stuff. And here I am today. I think my personal favorite game of all time is probably gonna have to be Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It's fan
Ooh.
favorite. I can't think of any other game where storyline's fantastic, zombies are fantastic, multiplayer's. I mean, just the game as a whole is great. So that would definitely be mine. And honestly, I say that gaming has definitely come a long way
Agreed.
since I was a kid. I think that they wouldn't necessarily say that gaming is going in a right direction per se, but I do think that there's a lot of potential with certain games that are coming up, which I know there's some of that we are actually going to be talking about here. But yeah, I think that's just a little bit about me. My go-to style of game is first-person shooter. Always been a huge FPS kind of guy, and I think that actually started with 007 Nightfire. That was where it all
Ooh.
started. So
Oh, classic.
I was gonna say, so if you really want to go back in time, 007 Nightfire was my starting point for FPS. So
Right on, man. Yeah, that's definitely a classic. As far as 007 goes, I want to say I had Agent Under Fire on the PS2. I
there
think
you go.
that's what it was called. Yeah, so I'm right there with you on the James Bond titles.
Well, I say we go ahead and get right into this.
Yeah, let's run it.
So Xbox Showcase. So we got to watch the Xbox Showcase not too long ago, and they showed us a plethora of games. And we definitely don't have time to go through every single one of them, which is completely okay, as some of them are kind of iffy compared to others.
Yeah, there were some
But what we
stinkers.
decided, I was gonna say what we decided to do is we are gonna go ahead and just kind of go over ones that really stuck out to us, whether that's in a positive way or in a negative way. Now, of course, just to let everybody understand that this, like what we are going to go over, a lot of it is going to be what we have seen and our personal takes on this. So I know that everyone's going to have their own kind of viewpoint of these games, but this is just coming from us. So with that being the case, we are actually going to get started with Doom: The Dark Ages.
Let's
I
go,
will
baby.
let you.
Yes.
I was going to say I will let you take this one because I know you are absolutely ecstatic about this.
Oh, dude, before I even seen the trailer, just the moment I knew it was Doom, I almost fell out of my seat. Cause I'm a huge fan of 2016 and Eternal, and even the older ones, man. I play Brutal Doom. I mess around with some mods from time to time just to get that fix for just bloody guts and gore, nonstop action shooter gameplay that Doom is known for. And it's been a little minute since Eternal came out, so this is definitely like perfect timing. Um, where to start, man? Well, I've watched this trailer about 10 or 20 times in a row. Uh, like
He's
no
a little
lie,
obsessed. You couldn't tell.
just a bit, man, just a bit. I mean, I'll get the small point out of the way first. His armor looks so badass in this game. It is a perfect blend between his classic look and a Viking style that they're going for. It looks so cool. Uh, they showcase that shield that looks like it's
Oh,
gonna
dude,
play a
the
huge part.
shield.
Dude, yes, man. I mean, and I even noticed like there's a parry system now.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
what?
I saw that in the trailer, and I think that that's actually going to play a huge factor. So I think the best part is, if you don't mind me interjecting here, I think the best
Yeah.
part when it comes to the shield is that it's definitely going to put a huge change to the gameplay and the play style of it.
Mhm.
Because most of the time you're just running in, guns blazing, killing, monsters and demons left and right. But now you've got a shield that looks like it's pretty much going to be a permanent thing
Yeah.
on your in your left hand. It's not going to be like yeah, I'm going to assume that they're probably going to allow you to either change your what's in your left hand, but I mean still a shield that you can also be used as a weapon is definitely going to put a change on this game.
Yeah, definitely. From watching the trailer, it does look as though they're going for a more almost like a slower, methodical gameplay loop. Whereas the first two in this reboot series, they were definitely more action packed. Not saying there's going to be less action, but for example, 2016 is exactly like you were saying, much more guns blazing. Eternal had more of, it's definitely still action packed, but it had more of a like resource management. You got to know when to use the chainsaw, how to hit and when to hit certain enemies. And this one looks like they're going to slow it down just a tad bit more and kind of make you really think and strategize about how you're going to approach each encounter, which is honestly totally fine with me personally. Some people may not like that, but I think it's going to be cool. Uh Graphically, stunning. I mean, the games have always been staples for their time, but they really beefed up the visuals on this. It looks super nice. I like the more darker tones, like more Gothica style almost. That looks pretty cool. And one thing I really want to hit home is we're getting a mech suit, dude. I don't know if you noticed that in the trailer, but we're getting a mech suit and we're fighting Titans now. That's
I
insane to me.
So I'll be honest. So I came into the Xbox showcase late, so I actually missed the Doom trailer. So I actually had
Mhm.
to end up having to go back and watch it again. And yeah, when I saw the mech suit, I was like my jaw hit the floor. I was like, what are they about to do to us?
I'm telling you, bro, it looks
So
so cool.
I was gonna say it looks good, but at the same time, you really gotta think about it. What hell are we about to jump into?
Yeah, because there's no way it's only gonna be one Titan like they showed in the trailer. I mean, we're probably
Oh, yeah.
about to be fighting five or six of them, or some off the wall encounter that how they're gonna incorporate that. I don't know, but that's the thing, man, is they showcase just enough to where it's like your brain can almost just sit there for hours and just come up with the possibilities, which is a sign of a really good trailer. Uh,
Yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead.
I think it's no, you're good. I was gonna say I think it's gonna be it's it's gonna be new. It's gonna be something that we've never seen before. It's gonna be something that really ties into it. And the best part is that as much as point, shoot, kill, demolish, that sort of thing. The storyline. Like, I know we haven't
Mm,
really gotten much information on the storyline, but from what I've gathered is that this is like supposed to be of in the past.
yeah, prequel.
So I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of information that's going to come from this game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Cause I mean, even just the when the trailer opens up and it says, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's something like before he was a hero. Uh, and then I think it said something along the lines of when he was a servant for gods and kings, or it says something like that right there at the beginning of the trailer. So it's
Mhm.
definitely a prequel, even predating 2016, and I'm really interested to see how they incorporate that because Eternal and I'll skip talking too much about the story of the other two for those who haven't finished them. I don't want to spoil anybody, but Eternal kind of left things very close-ended. Like there's not a whole lot they can do from there, which makes me even more excited that it's a prequel because we'll get like a past story. So super excited to see what they do with that. Uh, we can also fly now.
Yeah, I saw that. The flying creature of some sorts.
Yeah, I don't know what type, because it wasn't a Caco demon, which would have been absolutely hilarious if we could have rode the meatball demons. That would have been freaking, that would have been so funny. But we get to fly on something, so that'll be interesting. And also, man, the soundtrack. The soundtrack sounds like it's gonna stick to what it does best. It's probably not gonna be Mick Gordon. I mean, Mick Gordon killed it in 2016, and he's probably the one who has that mantle. But Eternal's soundtrack, I really liked it, and this one sounds like it's gonna just do more of the same, which is perfect. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I think all around as the game as a whole is going to be definitely one that's going to be exciting. Something that we're really going to be able to just kind of jump in, still feel like it's the same, but it's a whole new game. Everything. One of the guns that I saw in the trailer that I wanted to kind of just talk about real quick
Mm.
is the gun with the skull in it.
Oh my
So
God, yes.
so it's almost kind of like a shotgun thing, but it's constant. It's like a machine shotgun in a sort of sense where it breaks up the skull and just shoots it out into the enemies. That that is something that I really like to see because it again, you know, we all know that Doom is about kicking ass, taking names,
Yeah,
killing
it's a
demons
power
and stuff like
fantasy
that.
for
But
sure.
absolutely. But there's still they still have found ways to keep the game fresh and new and us wanting more. So, and I think that the devs are doing a fantastic job with when it comes to this trailer, and I'm really excited to see um, how Doom: The Dark Ages comes out to be.
100%. They have proven their competency with this IP, and I think Bethesda knows that. It almost seems as though Bethesda just kind of lets their hand just removes themselves entirely and just let it do what it does best. And that is exactly what they need to do, and I can't wait till we get more information.
I was gonna say, I mean, they did great with the remastered Doom in 2016. They did great with Doom Eternal,
Hmm.
and I already have high hopes for the Dark Ages. I think it's gonna be great. I think that it's gonna definitely put a new aspect to the game while still keeping the classic running gun kind of style. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a good one.
100%. 100%. With that, do we want to move on to our next title?
I am good with that. So our next title is going to be Mecha Break.
Mmm.
Um, so with this one, I am thoroughly excited. So to kind of give a quick backstory for this one. This is a game that I actually didn't even hear about until the showcase. Um, and I say it loosely like that because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, well you don't really hear about this stuff until showcases." Well, sometimes you can hear stuff down the pipeline, and there was talks of a new um Gundam style
Right,
game
right.
that was coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
Um but that was all I'd really heard about, didn't really know much of it. But then here it comes, Mecha Break. So I am a huge Gundam fan. I've always have been, and of course, recently there was a game. It was a Gundam game. It was a hero shooter, and
Yep.
we all know hero shooters. You got Overwatch, that sort of things. But Gundam was a really nice twist to the hero shooter that didn't feel like it was
A
a
sweat
lot.
fest.
Yeah, exactly. It was one where you could have fun, you didn't have to sweat and everything, and everyone could enjoy it. Unfortunately, the player base was not big enough, and the devs unfortunately had to close it out.
Rest in peace, Gundam
Had
Evolution.
shut Gundam Evolution, fantastic game. In my opinion, wish it would come back, but we gotta and just enjoy the moments that we do when it comes to those games. So, with that being the case, Mecha Break is something that I'm ecstatic to hear, ecstatic to see. It's a little bit more, it's less cartoony than Gundam is, but it
Yep.
still looks good. Some people were saying like, what was it, Armored Core 6 or something like that, something similar to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you know, seeing the trailer, everything looks amazing with this.
It looks like the most best form of chaos ever. It looks like
I
it
was
would be
gonna
a
say
blast.
absolute chaos, but the best part is that with chaos comes so much that you can do with it with a game.
Oh yeah.
Um, I feel like we didn't get too much information with Mecha Break, more so of just kind of seeing like first looks of what this game is going to be.
Hmm.
And like you said, it is just utter chaos for the whole thing. Um, some of the big things that I kind of noticed that I'm not entirely sure if it would be cool if this is the case, is possible mech building.
See, that's one of those things I really want them to drop some kind of tidbit on because it seems as though you can build the mechs, but they also didn't showcase mech building. So the other option is it could be a class setup where you have almost like different cores, kind of like Infinite does, where you have the cores and you build around that core, at least until they changed it. They could do a similar thing with this where they have different classes and then you can alter the classes, but you're almost limited to the class function. Uh, I don't really have a preference either way for the most part. I would prefer if we could just have complete freedom because that just makes mech building so much more fun. It makes it more personal to you as a player. Uh, but for balancing sake, a class setup would make more sense for balancing.
So I think the only concerning when it comes to a class setup is, you know, here again, it's another one of those, hero shooters.
Right.
Is it
Yeah,
going to be a
yeah.
good hero shooter? We don't know. Like I said, there's not much that we have really gotten from the trailer or from the showcase for Mecha Break, but I mean, does it look promising? Absolutely. Is
Right.
there more information that can be given with this game? Yes, and I believe that they are planning on doing that later on this year. So, of course, once we find out more, we will definitely share that with you all.
For sure.
um,
Because they got that beta starting next month too.
which I will definitely take part in that and see how it is. But other than that, the graphics look very smooth. I think the
Oh yeah.
gameplay looked really smooth. Um, I'm really excited to see where this game goes. They've got it's promising. It's very promising, but we will definitely see how it turns out.
100%, 100%. Yeah, super excited for that one.
So, do you have anything else that you wanted to add when it comes to this one, or?
I mean, with the little information we have, I don't have too much other than like I am super excited, and of course, just one more for the fans. R.I.P. Gundam Evolution. Hopefully this can fill
Very
that
much so.
void. Hopefully this can
Very,
fill that
very much
void.
so. I ended up actually seeing a clip of Gundam Evolution earlier today, and I was like, ugh, I miss that game.
The memories, dude. The
The
memories.
memories. It was such a good game. All right, so with that, we are going to go ahead and move on to our next title, one that, to me personally, really stuck out to me, which is Fable.
Yes. Yes.
So I have always been a huge Fable person. So before, playing, online and, when multiplayer games kind of took over and it was still kind of a single player type of life, uh,
Right.
Fable was actually one of those games where I thoroughly enjoyed. Played the first one, played the second one, played the third one more times than I can count. I remember I used to play Fable 3 and I would know everything in that game down to the T. That's
Man,
how many times
yeah.
I played it. So to hear and to see that they have another Fable game coming out. Now, I know this is not the first time that they have announced this. They did announce this what was it? A year or two ago?
Yeah, a decent couple of years, I want to say. I
But
want to
I
say
think when they first announced it, it was literally just a teaser
cinematic.
trailer. It wasn't much.
And to be fair, this one was also kind of more cinematic too. Like we still haven't really seen a whole lot of gameplay from this, which on one hand is all right, but on the other hand is it's a tad bit concerning to me because Fable fans really like Fable. See, and I'm like you. Before I was able to get Xbox Live, just being a youngin, Fable 2 was my big one. I played a mess load of Fable 2. And the thing about it is one of the most important aspects of Fable is the combat, how you can build your character between the melee and the range, and then you've got your magic stat, and you can almost form like your build throughout that depending on how you allocate your stat points. So the problem that I'm noticing the most is that this newest one got announced however long ago it was, and they dropped this new trailer, and it's still mainly, there was a little bit of combat gameplay, but it's still mainly cinematics, which is a tad bit concerning because I feel like at this point they should be able to show us just a little bit more. And
Yeah, I can definitely agree that. However, you do have to laugh at the fact that they completely fixed main character's face in this updated
Oh my
cinematic.
god, dude, and thank God they did because that first trailer, I don't know one person that looked at that and went, "Yeah, that's cool." Maybe all of
I
two
wish
people, man.
I was gonna say we gotta see if we can find we if we can find the original trailer just to kind of show you guys what we're talking about. I mean, it was horrendous. It was so bad, and it's like, this is what we're getting? So to see
Exactly.
so for them to come back around and be like, "Alright, guys, here's more of Fable," and you're like, "Oh, they fixed the face. Thank God." Oh, it was great. So, just just want to throw that little funny out there. So, like you said, there wasn't a lot of gameplay. However, we did get to see a little bit of the combat, and I do have to say, just like with every other Fable game that we have gotten, the combat seems to be relatively the same
Yeah, it looks
as
standard
before.
for a Fable game.
Yeah. So, you know, kind of like you said earlier, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
100%.
think we're still gonna get a lot to this. I'm excited to see what the storyline is going to be of. You know, always taking place in Albion, of course, but what
Hmm.
what do we got going on this time? What is happening? And then really, the question is that are they gonna, stick to the you make good and bad choices kind of deal?
Yeah, the choices and another small detail. Now, some people may not care about this, but like we were saying earlier, Fable is about making your character, and I've noticed they're really hitting home with this main character. And they haven't shown that you can switch genders, which is fine. I mean, as long as the character is well written and it's a compelling story, I'm sure most people won't care. But I can also see how some people might be a bit peeved because like gender is one of those things that goes into making your own character you, your personal journey.
Right.
Um, so I can see how some people would be upset. But for me personally, as long as it is a well written story and a well written main character, it's something that I will be able to look past, even if it takes a little bit of time.
And if I'm not mistaken, if that is the case, this will be the first Fable game where you don't get to truly pick your character. The character is picked for you.
Yes, yes, I'm pretty sure. While we're talking, I'll go ahead and look it up because the first one may have also. Uh,
It has been a very long time, so I could not begin to tell you. But what I can say is that, um, yeah, I definitely want to agree in the fact that, if it turns out that you can't truly like full on make your own character,
mhm,
that's fine. I think, like you said, as long as they have a really good, you know, storyline for this character, and things are kind of molded in a specific way, I definitely feel like that this is going to be a good game as always.
yeah, for sure. Eh,
Now, here's the other thing that I thought of, which kind of goes into the next point, is Humphrey.
Yeah, my
So,
man Humphrey.
he-
He's funny, dude. He
he-
seems like he's gonna be a character for sure.
so here's the other thing. Here's something that I, never really thought about until recently is, what if not only are you playing the female character, but then there are times where you're playing as Humphrey? Because we see clips of them together side by side fighting and exploring. What if
Mm,
there's two options here? Either one, you switch between the two characters, or you get to pick their storyline. That's what
mm,
I was, and that is actually a I think that that would put a really huge spin on Fable as a whole, because it's not just you pick your character, you make your choices, and you go through it's the characters are picked for you. You still get to make the choices, but you get to see how these players or how these characters pan out depending on who you pick and what choices you make for them.
you get to mold them to your own liking.
Exactly, and whatever
Yeah.
decisions you make depend, and that's one of the other things, is that depending on what decisions you make will also affect how the other character responds to you. Look,
Mm.
that's just speculation. That was something that I had in my head when I was really looking at this, and so one, if that's the case, oh, this is gonna put a whole huge spin on this, on
Yeah.
Fable as a whole. Do I think that's gonna happen? Who knows? We'll have to wait to see more. Maybe not. It definitely looks like they're really pushing towards more so of the female character, and Humphrey kind of being like, the person who kind of looks over this character. Or, I
Yeah.
know you had mentioned maybe as the narrator.
Yeah, because every Fable game, as far as I can remember, has that voice that narrates your journey as you're going through it, and that very well could be him because that's it. That's pretty much what he's doing in this newest trailer that they showcased. Is he is narrating like who this main character is and his relation to her. So that's very possible. That could be his main role as well as like a guiding figure. And also, because I just looked it up and got the official answer, in the first Fable game, you could not change your gender. So this is not the first time they've done this, and therefore we know they can do it well as long as they write the story correctly.
That is fair. All right, so that answers that. But like I said, it would still be interesting to see like if you could play both.
That would be nice. That would be very interesting. And I really like the theory that you brought up where you could mold them to be how you want the character to pan out, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, didn't see too much on this, but I definitely think that with what we got in the first trailer a couple of years back to what we see now, it definitely looks like it's going in the right direction. And I'm really excited to see more gameplay and more information on how this game is truly going to play out.
Yeah, something, man. Give us more. What's up, Xbox? Give us some more. This is a flagship title for y'all, man. Let's see some action.
Come on, Microsoft, give us what we want.
Heck
Do
yeah,
you
hell
want to
yeah.
you want to talk about the next one? I know you are absolutely.
Ooh. Drum roll. I don't know if y'all can hear my fingers tapping on the desk, but drum roll, please. Let's go to Gears of War E-Day, baby. E-Day. Oh, I don't even know where to start with this. So to clarify something here for those who haven't seen the trailer, it's only a cinematic trailer, right? So we haven't actually seen how the game's gonna play, but if you have played Gears of War, literally any of the Gears games before, you know how the gameplay is gonna pan out, and that is it's gonna be blood, guts, Nasher duels, and some of the best cover shooting you'll ever find in any cover shooter ever made ever. Um, Now in 4 and 5, I know the story just kind of they took the brakes out of the car and then pushed it down a mountain, and they just that's kind of what they did with the story once 4 and 5 came out.
Took the
um
brakes out of the car and Dom crashed. All right. Anyway, all right. Now that I've kind of probably stepped on some toes there.
Man, but see, that leads into, because Dom is back. Dom is back.
Yeah.
He's in the game. We're going to see Marcus and Dom, the two flagship brothers, the brothership between the two. We're going to see that again. And they're younger in this one, so they're probably like a little more like raw, rugged than they are when Gears of War 1 starts. And also
So
probably a little more terrifying. You know, they haven't been through as many years of this war as they have when Gears of War 1 starts. So they're probably a little more terrified and maybe not as gruff. And that'll be interesting to see. And the best part is it's on E-Day. E-Day is the day that you only hear about in the Gears of War stories as being one of the days where shit just hit the fan. But you only hear about it. You only see tidbits of it. You get lore fed to you in other ways. But now we're getting an entire game based around E-Day. And oh my good God Almighty, let me put it to you this way: if they fuck this up, that studio is going up in flames by somebody. there, there is a group of people out there that are going to be so pissed. Oh man, but I believe they can do it. I believe they can do it, 100%.
I do have to say one thing, and I know that I'm gonna get a lot of hate for it. Is I have not fully played the Gears games. I have played 3. I
Hmm.
have played 2, but that's a bit about it. I don't think I've maybe played a little bit of 4, but that's about as much as I have. So I can't necessarily say that I have too much experience with, you know, Gears and how it plays out. However, there is one thing. There is one thing that I want to note that um, it looks like this is the kind of where they're pointing in the direction of. Which, if they
Mm.
are, I'm really excited to see this. Is E-Day is finally returning to the horror-like style that we saw in the original trilogy of the games.
Yes, I've been seeing a lot
So
of buzz around that. Yes, absolutely.
so one of the big things to kind of give you guys an example for those of you who have played the game is the Berserkers. Do you remember back in
Ooh.
I think it was 3. I think it was 3. It was either 2 or 3, but the Berserker mission where you had to lead it outside in order to be able to kill it. We
Yep.
all remember being absolutely terrified. Our hearts were racing, our blood was pumping because we were just trying to avoid getting, our faces smashed in by this thing, but also trying to get it out. And that's just one of the examples that I wanted to throw out there. But to put the game back into a horror like style is massive in my opinion, because
100%.
that's what a lot of us grew up on. And again, with 4 and 5, they really kind of took that aspect of the game away.
Yeah, they made it much more pretty,
You know,
pretty and bright.
uh, yeah, and like don't get me wrong, graphics are always great, in a game. You know, looking at scenery stuff and whatnot, but it's Gears
Hmm.
of War. It's blood, guts, people, everything getting destroyed, people dying and whatnot, and you're trying to just get from point A to point B.
100%. For lack of a better term, Gears of War is the Saving Private Ryan of shooting games.
Yes, yes, I can definitely get back you up on that one. Um, so and yes, like you said, Dom is back, so we get to definitely see these guys, you know,
Do what they do best.
fresh face, almost like a fresh face, like they just joined up, and they haven't really seen this kind of enemy before. I mean, as
Hmm.
we saw in this video, you know, um, I mean, he was just having a difficult time fighting this guy,
Yeah,
and it was
100%.
your standard, you know, enemy. Like in all the games that we play, it's the standard enemy. You shoot them, you hack them up with your
With the
your
chainsaw.
chainsaw at the end, and but like for the very first time, I think we see him struggle. And
100%.
again, each character in this game got to where they were because they had to go through some shit. So
Yeah.
I think we finally get to see where it all started in a sort of sense. We got to see where, because if you because one of the other big key details from this is he doesn't have the scars on his face in this trailer.
Ooh, I actually didn't notice that.
If you Yeah, I was gonna say go back and look at it. He does not have the scars on his face. When they do the close up, it's literally just a baby face. Nothing, nothing at all.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't even notice that. Yeah. Holy crap. Holy shit, you're right. So we are gonna see some shit.
So yeah, like I said, I that was just one of the little things that I noticed in the trailer. So wanted to be like, if you didn't catch it, go back and watch it again. No scarring, no nothing. It
Hmm.
that just like he literally looks like he's fresh out of the barracks. Like
And
he's never been to a fight before, and then of course then you have Dom that also shows up, and same thing. Dom's got that baby face
hmm
that, but it looks so good.
so good. It was very nice cinematic. And if you rewatch the trailer for any reason, or for any other reason, let it be this one, to watch Marcus slap the dog shit out of that locust soldier with that TV. That boy, that man picked that TV up and went whop.
Well, and that was actually, and to also kind of go more in depth with that, again, we see him struggle on one person or one creature, and you know fight or flight response kicks in. I don't think
Hmm.
I've ever seen a fight or flight response come from him in any of the games. It's always been he knows exactly what to do, where to go, how to kill something. He always gets help from his team. But for the
Yep.
very first time, we see a new side of him, which is I've never experienced this before. And fight or flight kicks in, and he tries to do everything he can to survive this one-on-one fight that he's in.
100%. Yeah.
So, but
100%,
that's just
man.
my take. That's just my take. So, biggest thing to take away from this is definitely go back and look at it. He doesn't have the scarring on his face. And again, even though it was just a cinematic trailer, I still think that the hype for this game is astronomical, and I'm really excited to see what comes next with this.
110%. And one little small tidbit, we're not going to spend really a whole lot of time on it, but just to drop a little lore treat for the big time Gears fans. Let's all remember that this is the era where Dom loses something very, very important to him.
Oh,
Hmm. Before
oh, I didn't
before
even think that.
Yeah, before his wife, this is where he loses something really important to him too. So I think it's gonna
Got it.
be
We're
a
gonna be in
sad
our
one.
feels. We're
Yeah,
gonna be in our feels.
a
Dang it.
100%, bro, 100%. But yeah, super excited, super excited. So,
So I was gonna say, so to go ahead and jump into the next one, we have Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred.
all right,
Now,
yeah, you want to
now
go ahead, go ahead.
this one, I'll let you take off with this one because I've got my own personal opinion on this one, but I'll let you kind of explain this one to everyone.
Right on. So, Vessel of Hatred. I'm kind of split right down the middle because Diablo 4 has, with all, just to for lack of a better term, it's had its share of mixed reviews. Uh, I don't have a crazy long history with the Diablo series. I really did enjoy playing Diablo 2. I'm actually doing a playthrough of it again on Resurrected right now. Um, not as we speak or anything, but just in my free time. Diablo 4, I don't necessarily hate it, but it's definitely a bloated game to an extent. I mean, you play it for a couple hours, then you get bored and you log off. Well, for the longest time now, these new seasons have been coming out, and it's just kind of really been like more of the same. They do some changes under the hood, but by and large, you're kind of just doing the same shit you did in the base game. And there hasn't been a whole lot of oomph, a whole lot of reason for players to return, in my personal opinion. But with this one, with this particular expansion coming out, this is a whole new story expansion. This is actually more, they're putting more beef in the stew, uh, to put it bluntly. And it could go either way. I will say I'm gonna hop back in to play it. I know you've shared the same sentiment, and some of our other buddies have also shared the same sentiment. We'll hop back in and we'll try it. But it does look like this is gonna be bigger than more of the same. It seems like they're really gonna throw something nice out there, which is good because Diablo 4 really fucking needs to be thrown a bone right now.
So I think, and in all honesty, I do believe that the devs have caught wind of that, and they definitely did that with this recent trailer. So we see Nirel, which is one of the NPC characters from the original storyline of Diablo 4,
R.I.P. that left
return.
arm.
I was gonna say R.I.P. that left arm indeed. But we do see her return in this cinematic trailer, and of course, for those of you, spoiler alert, if you remember where we ended off with her, is she decided to go her own way after everything that happened. I won't go into too much detail for those that have not played the game yet,
Yep.
but last we saw her, she had left a note stating that she was going to go on her own adventure to. Uh, find her own way, and she took the crystal that we had found with her, which was
Yep.
fine. And so in this trailer, all we see is um, she starts to get visions while holding the crystal, and we start to find out that this crystal is actually not a safe nor good crystal to be holding. It's got some sort of dark spell, some dark magic with it, and it actually ends up consuming Nirel.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much all we got from that. And I can definitely say that it is exciting to see where this goes. Um, because like you said, mixed reviews when it comes to Diablo. To me personally, once I had completed the game, the all the missions, the whole storyline and whatnot, I kind of just dropped the game. I didn't
Yeah,
find much
same.
enjoyment in it after that, but this definitely kind of reeled me back in. I definitely want to kind of see how and where this story goes next. Um, and so I'm really excited to see how that goes. Um, game's current hype is not really high. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's Diablo. We all know how Diablo plays. The game is great. The gameplay is fun. The fighting style is fun. The way that you can create your characters is fun, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't keep your interest. Or in my personal opinion, it doesn't keep my interest. So
Yeah, it just gets
definitely
stale
hope.
so fast.
Yeah, so I'm definitely hoping that Vessel of Hatred does kind of bring a lot of its player base back into the game, and we really get to see more of um, Nyrell as a character and what she goes through next, as if she hasn't gone through enough in this game.
For sure,
So
and I think we're gonna get a return of the core cast because she ends towards the end of the trailer. She says maybe I can't do this on my own, which leads me to believe that they're about to bring everybody back together for another hoorah in the world of Diablo. And as long as they have learned from their mistakes, this really could change the course of the game entirely. And I hope it does, man. I want Diablo 4 to be something that, like the second one, where I can just sit there and play for hours if I have the time to do it and feel like I spent my time well.
yeah, I agree with you on that one. So I guess we'll get to see more. We'll wait to see more and see if this does become something of a fun playback on the game. So
For sure, for sure.
now my favorite. Ah, so excited for this one.
Yeah, you
Call
got this
of
one. Go ahead.
Duty Black Ops 6.
Yeah.
So before we even get started, I understand that there are so many people out there right now that it's like it's Call of Duty. It's the same thing day in and day out. You know what? You can finally eat those words because they are changing this game. It is a whole new ball game for Call of Duty, and I am here for it. So,
Mhm.
Black Ops 6 Direct was something after the Xbox showcase, but the reason we have added this into it is because it is, for those of you who do not know, will be available day one release on the Xbox Game Pass. So if you don't have
Yep.
Game Pass or you have thought about getting Game Pass, here's my recommendation, get it. Because you will, all of the games that we have talked about here today will most likely be available on Game Pass day one of release of those games.
100%. Yeah.
So but let's talk about it. Let us talk
Mhm.
about it. I could sit here and talk about this for hours. I won't do it, but I can. So let us start with by far one of the biggest changes that is coming to Black Ops 6. So actually before we even get into that, they gave us a lot of information.
A
They gave
lot.
us so much. I mean, gave us gameplay, they gave us modes, they gave us zombies. I mean, they gave us so much. And the biggest change that this game is going to bring is the movement in the game. So,
Oh
some of
yeah.
the biggest things that a lot of people have either one complained about or two don't like or whatever it is, like you have your own opinions on it, is the movement in Call of Duty right now. Like you have some people who are, sweaty and can run, slide, dive, and get out of your crosshair before you even blink, and next thing you know, you're dead.
Oh, they're
And then you have some
crackheads.
people, yeah, exactly. And then you have people who, don't play that kind of movement. They literally just kind of run around and do what they can. And you know, it sucks. I don't. I have to be the one to say it is terrible. For one, I play a lot of Call of Duty, and I have to like if you're not able to move like the sweats do, you have zero chance of playing or even having a fun time in this game, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what they are doing is they are adding something completely new to the game, new movement. They're calling it Omni movement. So the way that Omni movement that I can try to explain, and of course we'll have it up here on the screen for you guys, is Omni movement is to change the way that you can move about the game. um it's not just I can only sprint, so I can only sprint forward, and then like if I want to sprint somewhere else, I have to look in that direction, click the button to start running. So with Omni movement, it allows you to be able to sprint in any direction that you want by moving your control stick in that direction.
Mhm. And dive and slide and all of it. You can do all of it in
Yes,
any
all
direction
of
you
it.
want to.
So one of the biggest things that is also coming to Black Ops 6 when it comes to the movement is the diving mechanic. So the diving mechanic, we all know that you have to face in that direction, run and press or press and hold, however you want to look at it, the crouch button in order to dive. But
Hmm.
the hardest part is you have to dive, and let's say you dive past somebody, you then have to turn around. The problem is by the time you hit the floor, now you're still prone and you're slowly still turning. You may not have made it all the way. That
Right.
can
Yeah.
become a problem. So what they have now added with this Omni movement for Black Ops 6 is it's very similar to, if you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out, is the movement style that they have from um oh, what's the game? I'm gonna forget it now all of a sudden, and I can't believe I forgot it because I played the game, so much. Helldivers, that's it. Helldivers
Oh,
2. So
Helldivers. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, man, I had it and I lost it. Helldivers 2, where you can sprint and dive backwards, and instead of diving onto your stomach, you will actually dive and land on your back while you still have your gun up
Oh
and
yeah.
being able to shoot. So pretty
It'll
much
save
it's
your ass
you know
too.
well, yeah, tell me about it. Like, it'll allow you to be able to, and again, this still goes back to the whole movement of being able to run or sprint in any direction. So, like, if you want to sprint backwards, your character's literally going to be, back running. They're going to be running backwards while still being able to. I mean, it's definitely going to put a whole change to this game. And so, the only negative that I could possibly see from this is that it's going to make killing somebody a lot harder.
Yeah, it's gonna up the sweatiness for
It
for
is.
sure.
It is, but I think it's definitely going to give a fair advantage to everybody.
Yeah, I could see that because I mean everybody can do the same stuff, and not to mention too, like you were saying earlier, a lot of it used to be from your crosshair is stuck here, right? But now your crosshair
Right.
can be anywhere, which means that everybody can look anywhere all at the same time. So
Yeah.
there's less room for a sweat to overpower somebody who wants to just run around, because now somebody who wants to just run around can do just that, and they're not getting caught by Cracky McFuckstick and his band of clowns who play this game 24/7. Because I'll tell you, I'm definitely one of the people who is usually on the tangent of, well, it's the same shit every year. And I do still like COD as well. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of what they did with Modern Warfare 3, but by and large, I still consider myself a COD fan. But I'm also not the type to go out and spend $60 just because it's COD. But this is the first one that I've seen where I'm like, oh, I'm about to be in this bitch. I'm about to be in this bitch, and I'm about to be doing it. I mean, just the simple fact you can run by a window, you can dive, and you can turn around and max pain that mug who's in the window next to you diving by. Like, so we were talking about James Bond earlier. I mean, this is James Bond all day.
Right. And I was gonna say, and I'll definitely say for those of you, this speaks volumes. He does not like Call of Duty. He hasn't liked Call of Duty in years. So to hear him come back and be like, "I'm excited for this," like that's huge. Um.
Yeah, the last time I
So
was actually excited was 2019 reboot, because they finally like did something new with COD.
right, right. The 2019 Modern Warfare was peak in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Definitely a good Call of Duty. Haven't really gotten to feel much of a Call of Duty since then. I mean that's not true. The Cold War zombies was good. I
That was
personally
fun, yeah.
enjoyed the like. I wasn't a huge fan of like how they did their round based stuff, but it was good. Um, so now gameplay. Let's talk about the gameplay.
Mm.
So this is supposed to be like the timeline of this is supposed to be kind of in the middle of Black Ops 2, but not futuristic. So Black Ops 2 was like what 2025 kind of era
I want to
and
say, I
whatnot.
want to say, yeah,
But
yeah.
there were flashbacks. We had the flashbacks of like Woods and Mason and Hudson. So what we really get to see in Black Ops 6 is what happens with Woods after he sustains his injuries from Menendez. What does he do?
Yeah.
All we really saw was that, Menendez shot his both of his legs, and that was the end of it. Hudson dies, and then you have Mason and David. David becomes, older, and that was about it. That's all we really got to see. So Black Ops 6 takes place in that. And apparently Woods creates this covert team, and Adler comes back
Yeah, Adler's
into
back,
play.
baby.
I was gonna say Adler comes back in and shows his face and kind of helps out with his covert team. So there's a lot to kind of dissect from that, but I'm really excited the fact that one, it's not going to be another like a huge futuristic kind of game. It's going to be one of those where I believe it takes place in the 90s. I think they say that this kind of takes place in the 1990s, like 80s and 90s kind of
Yeah, it
deal.
looks like a direct sequel to Cold War because Adler's back and all that.
Right. So yeah, so there's definitely a lot to kind of dissect from that, but I'm really excited to see how that pans out. They did state that there's going to be kind of a safe house, a Russian safe house. So if you remember, if you ever played Cold War, you would like to pick your missions. You go into your safe house, kind of talk to people, determine what you want to
Yeah.
do as Bell, and then you go out and you do it. So they're gonna bring that back into it.
Nice.
So there's going to be a lot coming into this, which all that tells me is that, and I believe they did state that there's going to be like main missions, and there's also going to be a little bit of side missions that you can do, which I believe they did do that in Cold War as well. So they're bringing that aspect of the game back as well for the campaign. So that's going to be kind of cool to see how that all pans out, how it plays. That may also just tell us that kind of with Cold War, there may be multiple different endings depending on what
Hmm.
you do. And that's the other thing. We, excluding Black Ops, Black Ops 2, you had different choices that you made that gave you different endings.
Right.
Cold War, kind of the same thing. So, it looks like that they're probably going to bring that back and give us choices to make, and that in turn determines how the ending of the game is going to look. So a lot more to come with that. I do know that if you do pre-order the game, you will get a month early access to campaign and to zombies.
Hmm.
Which let's go ahead and dive right into that.
Yeah.
Zombies,
So,
zombies.
so
I will let you take this one.
yeah. Well, and so zombies, they really they kind of told more than they showed with zombies. This direct was very clearly more so focused on what they're doing with multiplayer and the campaign itself. But let's go ahead and break the ice on the biggest announcement for zombies. They are bringing back the classic round-based mode, which oh my goodness, thank you. I am so tired of them trying to do too much with zombies. Zombies is supposed to be zombies. Leave it the fuck alone, man. It's not it's not necessarily a afterthought in the COD series, but because zombies definitely has its cult fan base. Some people play Call of Duty to play zombies, and that's what they play. But zombies is
No
another
hating that. No
classic
hating.
example of you said what?
I said no hating that. No hating that.
No, not at all. I mean, I completely get it. Cause zombies is an excellent mode. Zombies is a staple in the survival genre entirely. I mean, there are many games you could point to who base their survival modes off of the way that zombies does it. Even if they tweak the formula a little bit, there's a lot out there that is inspired by the Call of Duty Zombies mode, and they are returning to form. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've said that phrase like 6 times already or something. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think they've learned, and they're bringing us the classic zombies experience in whole doggy. And they're giving us 2 maps on release, so they're actually like paying these people to do work. That's crazy. So super excited for that. Super excited for that. And man, the only thing that could top it is if they just put in the original perk machines with their jingles. I miss the songs the perk machines used to do, man. You need a little revive. Come on, it's a
And
slapper.
well, so and here's the other thing that I don't think a lot of people really notice. in recent zombie games is that when the game first released, like when the game first releases, there's only one zombie map. That's it. You play
Yeah.
one. But like in Black Ops and Black Ops 2, and even World at War, there was multiple maps to start the game. Of course, DLCs came about and they gave us more maps and everything. But in recent Call of Duty games that have the zombies, it's like one map.
Yeah, for sure. I think World at War, you started out with just Noct, and then when the mode picked up traction, yeah, they came up with Verrucht, and then Shino Numa, and then Darius, or Darius, however you want to say it. And Black Ops 1, I think it released with like, I want to say at least two, and then they added Dead Ops in there, if I'm not mistaken. If you had the little code on the terminal when you could break out of the chair. And I think
Yep.
I want to say two launched with just Transit and maybe a sec like Dead Ops Arcade 2, but Transit was so massive too, so you almost didn't care that it was only one map on release because it was a huge map connected by the bus function. And then of course you could go into the level select and you could pick like if you wanted to stay in just a certain area, like if you wanted to survive at just the bus stop, then you could do that and that was really cool too.
So, uh, one transit, fantastic map. Just gonna throw that one out there real quick. But
100%.
we don't really know too much with these two maps. All we know is that we're just getting two. We don't really know too much about them, what they're
Mhm.
gonna look like or anything. We know we get two. So round base zombies are back. We get two maps, and of course the new Omni movement will play into zombies as well, which I think is going to be fantastic because imagine running from a horde of zombies and being able to run backwards while still being able to shoot, and even dive backwards and still be able to shoot. Like I think it's going to be great
Yes, I hadn't even
with
thought
this
of
new
that, dude.
movement.
Training them is gonna be nuts.
I guess I definitely think this new movement's gonna also, make zombies even more enjoyable as it already is. So, um, multiplayer. So, multiplayer is multiplayer. There's not really much to kind of go off of here, but we got to see a little bit of gameplay of what multiplayer looks like with the new Omni movement, and I think it's going to look great.
Hmm.
One of the things that they did mention on top of the Omni movement is um, a new button system, or well, I say button system more like a new settings option
Yeah, you
in
can
the
customize your
game.
HUD now.
So one, you can customize your HUD, so you can actually now move the HUD. Like if you want the HUD in the bottom left corner of your screen, boom, you can do it.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of things fully integrated HUD system that you can now, customize to your liking, what you want, that sort of thing. But um the new, like I say, button system, button layout, what this is that and they actually showed an example, is you have to click 12 buttons just to be able to run, slide, drop down, jump up, mantle, climb over a wall, and then continue running again.
right.
Like it took like 12 button inputs. So with this new settings change, and they even gave us an example of it, it showed a guy running, sliding down into a ditch, jumping out of the ditch, running to a wall, mantling over the wall, and then continue running. Person never even touched a button.
Mm.
So now, so I don't know too much about it, but it looks like that there's now going to be the ability to have your character do things without having to put in all of these different button combinations just to be able to do it. Which, again,
Interesting.
kind of goes back to the movement thing. Definitely going to put a lot of changes to the game. I think it's really going to change a lot how the game plays, how people play the game. Um, but I'm really excited to kind of see how that one pans out as well. Um,
That's a bold move too.
it is, it is. Well, so here's the thing, like it showed that the person didn't even press any buttons and the character did the whole thing. So the question then becomes is, well, how does it activate? Does it just automatically do it the moment? Or is it one of
Right.
those where, like, if you're, if you're close to something, does it automatically? I mean, there's so many questions that are behind that are kind of gone unanswered at the moment, but I'm sure we'll probably get more information. I do believe they stated that they had more of the game to go over, in August. So I think we'll get a lot more information and more details of the game during that time.
For sure, yeah, because yeah, you're right. They're doing that big thing, and something that stuck out to me too, while we're still on the topic, is one of the guys who was talking about it. He said something along the lines of, "We look to racing games to decide like how we wanted to do our customization with the assists and all of that," which is absolutely genius. So my racing game players out there, Gran Turismo. I haven't played Forza in a while, but maybe Forza does it. But for me, it would be Gran Turismo. I mean, you can customize anything. If there's something that that you should be able to customize, you can customize it. So that actually really speaks volumes to me that that's their inspiration for this whole system, because boy, that's going to be in depth.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did hear that as well, and I think that's really gonna put a lot of different perspectives into the game.
For sure.
So the last thing I just want to kind of touch up on, because it's some things that people have talked about since um, Black Ops 6 Direct, is snipers. So one of the biggest things that has been going around social media as of recent is how the snipers are going to play out in multiplayer for Black Ops 6. So what they are stating, that it doesn't matter the sniper. Um, all snipers will be one shot from the torso up in multiplayer,
Which
and it can be a blessing and a curse. Oh, it's gonna make this game either really good or really bad. I mean, granted, they are going with, as they stated, they are going with a more um, realistic aspect to the game, but also at the same
mhm,
time, like they said, it is a new mechanic that other Call of Duty games don't have, which of course is, again, you know, each gun can kill somebody from torso up. So I have my own thoughts on that, and which is, you know, is it going to be a good thing? Is it going to be a bad thing? I mean, it really just all depends on how you are as a player. If you're a person who
mhm.
loves to snipe in video games and you're one of those people that always, snipes in Call of Duty, I mean, this is your bread and butter right here. But if
Yeah.
you're someone who just can't snipe, can't get the hang of it, don't like to snipe or anything, this could probably be something that's really going to upset you. So, I can't necessarily say for certain is this going to be good or bad. I guess really all depends on how it's going to play out once they release that.
Yeah, it there's definitely going to be some raging. I that is my prediction. There's going to be some people that are going to absolutely hate this, because there is a core group of people, of players across FPS games in general, not even just COD, who cannot stand dealing with people who snipe, because in their mind they hide in a corner and they get easy kills for the entire match, and a lot of the times, depending on where they're set up, they're hard to deal with. And Call of Duty basically just went, yeah, fuck you, and implemented this. So that, ooh, yeah, there's gonna be some rage, but honestly, man, I'm gonna keep it a buck on this when it comes to my opinion on this whole thing. If you're good with a sniper, this probably isn't gonna like be a difference, because you're hitting them headshots. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
You're gonna be annoying regardless of this change or not. So if anything, I could see this getting more people into sniping, which some people aren't gonna like, but because this will make it more accessible to, do the cool do the cool sniping kills and all that.
But
Um,
if you're also like me, it is frustrating when you shoot somebody in the chest and it's like hit marker and you shot him from 3 feet away.
exactly.
It's like,
Exactly.
oh my God. It's like, why?
And ranked is about to be a cesspool of people abusing sniper
Well, see, and
rifles
that's
settings too.
and I'm wondering if we're gonna get ranked in Black Ops 6, because we've only, I mean, no, that's not true. We have seen ranked play in Black Ops 2 beforehand, but it wasn't as big as what ranked is now, especially with CDL rules implied into that. Really kind of really excited to see how ranked is going to be.
Yeah, cause so I've been out of the loop since Modern Warfare 3 came out, the reboot. So but you've been playing rank. So what are some changes that you would like to see to the rank system?
Oh man, what would I like to see in the rank? I mean, I don't think there's really much that can really change in the rank system. I mean, okay, so that's not true. The way the algorithm of points. So, I
Mm,
mean, I can sit here and go like I could drop a 40 bomb in hard point and we lose the game and I still lose 27 SR. Like, are
right,
you
yeah.
and by the way, for those of you who don't know, the max that you can lose in a game, like if you lose the full like amount of points, it's 30 points. So you're telling me I dropped a 40 bomb and had 120 seconds on the hard point and I only knocked my SR down by 3 points. Like that just seems kind of nuts.
Unfair.
Or let's turn around and say let's say I won the game. Dropped a 40 bomb and I won the game and had 120 seconds and the game says, "Okay, here's 32 SR." What? Like the algorithm in how this game and that's the other thing. So I think that they've got the rank system down in Warzone. So ranked resurgence. So it's all about kills and placement, and that's how it's
Mm,
always been. Like if you ever played Apex ranked, competitive, like it's the same thing.
yeah,
Yes, you get points for kills. And you also get points for placement. The higher the placement, the more points you get. The more
right.
kills you get, the more points you get as well. But there is also one thing that they do have when it comes to ranked resurgence is that you get a penalty for deaths.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. So I like how their system is because it's like, okay, so the less you die and the more kills you get, the more points you're going to get, obviously. But your team also contributes to the amount of points you get. So, like, if your teammate gets a kill, an unassisted kill, you get 3 points for it. Or if you assist them, you get 5 points, or 7 points, or 10 points. Just all depends on the placement. So that's the other thing. The higher the placement, the more points you get for kills, assists, or what your teammates do that you didn't assist them with. I mean, they have the way the SR system in Ranked Resurgence is perfect in my opinion. I like how they do it. I
Mm,
don't like how the rank system, the SR point system is in multiplayer because it just doesn't make sense. The algorithm of how many points you win or lose depending on your performance. And even then, it also feels like it doesn't really matter on what your performance is. You lose, you're losing SR. It doesn't matter if you were good or not. Like it's so odd to see what really pertains to that.
for sure. And I can level with you on that one for sure, or not level, but I can relate because when you say you can put your essentially you can put your heart and soul into a match and it mean absolutely nothing, dude. So big Halo player. Um, and I won't say in Infinite because Infinite, I mean, I get by, but I haven't really touched ranked in Infinite because well, honestly, because it's Infinite. But in Halo 5, I was a consistent diamond player, no less than diamond. And
Mm,
one of the things that would actually deter me from getting on rank to grind to diamond is the fact that you could be sitting there and just wrecking the other team, but you're paired with these three doofuses who aren't on the point. They're always looking the wrong way. They're always missing their shots. And keep in mind, they're supposed to be in the same rank as you are. So they should be able to perform as well as you are, if not better in some cases. But on a whole, the team just sells it, and the game takes from you. And that is one of the worst feelings ever because it leaves the player in a state of mind where they're like, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm gonna get punished for it. and
Yeah.
nobody's gonna want to play then because it just feels like you're getting screwed over. And what's the point of spending? We all work jobs and shit. Like this is what we do in our free time. Who's gonna spend their free time being disappointed in themselves? Like that makes no sense. so so it's
Yeah.
so I
So
can completely relate to you on that for sure.
I do have to say that I liked the way ranked was in Modern Warfare 2 than I do in Modern Warfare 3.
Mm,
Um, I don't know what it was about Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3 that was different, like what the difference was, but just the way that the game played in Modern Warfare 2 was a lot better in my personal opinion than how the game played in Modern Warfare 3.
mm.
Um, so that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I think that's probably the only thing to really state that I want to change, or what can change is just how the SR system works for multiplayer. Other than that, I don't really see much of what to change on it. I think everything is as it should be
Pretty rock solid.
for ranked. So I'm excited to see if they bring it into Black Ops 6 and how they're gonna do that.
For sure, for sure.
So, but and then the last topic, because I know we're probably running out of time here. I think the last topic, or the last thing to really talk about when it comes to Black Ops 6, is the storage space. So the biggest controversy right now is that everyone is saying that the storage space is 306 GB. And let me tell
Oh,
you, right now, it is not. Okay. So if
yeah.
you were if you were to download Black Ops 6 and its entirety, it's going to give you Black Ops 6, it's going to give you Warzone, it'll give you Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. So you are essentially downloading three and a half, 4 games all at one time. So, I believe someone stated that the actual storage of Black Ops 6 alone, the amount of that is going to be released later, closer towards the release of the game.
Hmm.
My thought is it's probably going to be maybe anywhere between 75 to 150 gigabytes.
Yeah, I've been hearing a rumor recently, and it's not from the devs themselves, but it's just one of those things you hear down the pipeline. I've been hearing it's on the 150 mark if you're going with just Black Ops 6.
Right.
And
Which definitely a lot better, a
yeah,
lot better than
way better.
300.
And then if you break it down further, somebody who doesn't have any interest in zombies, well, they can just not install zombies and save even more memory that way. They do let
Yeah.
you do that, which is nice because good Lord, man, when did COD require so much fucking storage? They started this
Yeah.
trend in 2019 reboot, and it's just gotten worse ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. So, other than that, I think the game as a whole, I'm really, really excited to see how Black Ops 6 is going to turn out. It looks very promising. And for those of you who, again, state that, oh, it's Call of Duty, it's the same thing, it's the same thing, give it a shot. I definitely feel like this is going to be a lot different, and I definitely feel like that this is going to be um, a huge change in Call of Duty. And I will say this: if this game truly is what it looks like, I will have to give mad props to Activision. They finally listened
Hmm.
to and that's it. They listened, and they listened to everybody. They didn't listen to a small group of people. They listened to all of their fans and stated, "Okay, we hear you. We're gonna fix it." And I believe, that Black Ops 6 is going to be what we are looking for.
Amen to that. Definitely excited for that one. And hey, worst case scenario, at least if you're on the Xbox platform, worst case scenario, you get it on Game Pass, you didn't lose any money. You're already paying for Game Pass, so you didn't lose anything but like maybe an hour or two or however long it takes you to figure out if you like it or not. If you
Yeah.
don't, you can
Yeah.
uninstall the game, you're not out $60, $70, and you can go about your business.
Yep. Yep. Definitely agree. So, think it's going to be a good game, and I'm excited to see more in August.
Yes, sir. Catch the news
So,
here at GG Radio. No, I'm not gonna do all that.
are we on the time crunch? Do we got a little bit more, or are we getting?
Well, if we're trying to cut it at about an hour and a half, we got about 11 minutes. So
Okay.
probably a good time. We can do like some closing remarks if we got them and wrap her on up.
So, real quick, we've talked about games that we like. So let me just kind of throw in a game that I didn't like from the Xbox showcase.
Yeah.
Why, why do they think that we want another flight simulator? Someone, for the love of all that is holy, why are they giving us another flight simulator? Nobody
Oh.
asked for it. Nobody wants it. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be 250 gigabytes because like the first one was roughly about that much. I mean, why are we doing another one? Please, somebody explain to me why. Who asked? Who wanted it? Who asked for it? Which one of y'all said I want to play Flight Simulator? Can we get a new one? No.
Man, so look,
Uh,
being in the PC space, you definitely see there's a lot of people who like simulator games, and that's completely fine. I get it. Me personally, I enjoy like war simulator games if I'm playing on PC. Squad and Hell Let Loose, at least those are the closest ones I played. Those come to mind. A little bit of Arma 3 here and there. Um, my thing is 2022 is when the one before this new one came out, I want to say.
yeah, 2022.
It got its
Hmm.
glowing reviews and everything. I'm trying to figure out what in the hell they could have possibly added in 2 years to this IP that warrants an entire sequel, and why are they allocating resources to that when there are other things like, I don't know, some Fable gameplay, like something, and it went to Microsoft's Flight Simulator.
So just to give everybody the understanding. So downloading the base game itself. Okay, so this isn't no zero add-ons, nothing extra. 132 gigabytes. Okay, 132 gigabytes for the 2022 version of Flight Simulator. If you were to add everything else, all the additions to the game and whatnot, 242 gigabytes. Why? Like, and everyone's sitting there questioning why Call of Duty is going to be 300. Like, why are you going to question Call of Duty? Question Flight Simulator. I have no doubts that this new Flight Simulator is going to be, at least 200. Oh my god.
Which with most of these base models you'll find off the street, that's half your storage right there, unless you get the 1 terabyte models.
It just that is my only 2 cents is why are we getting another flight simulator? I don't see a need for it. I don't see a reason for it. Like I get that there are other simulator games that get updates every year. You got Surgeon Simulator, you got Farming Simulator, like you got stuff like that.
Right.
Fine. But Flight Simulator. Oh, okay. That was my 2 cents on a game that I didn't like. I don't know. Was there one game that stuck out to you that you're sitting there like, why?
So there were two actually, but let me get the first one out of the way. They showcased that game called Mixtape. The-
Yes, okay. I had to think about that. I was like, mixtape. Yes, I had to think about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember now.
and this looks like some of the most cringiest ain't shit ass. I don't even know how to put it into words because it looks super cringy, and the game has this stop motion animation, if I remember correctly, which there was another game that had that, and it just looks jarring. It almost will make you motion sick if you stare at it too long. But they had these teenagers on this on the for one, it's a bunch of cringy teenagers. All right, I'm automatically checked out there. But then they got this girl on the screen talking about some "it's our time to be bad." Boy, if you don't get your ass back in the house and finish your homework, so help me God. Like, who, who at Microsoft? Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer. I'm asking you directly. why did you allow this to be made in the first place? Who is this for? Who is this for? Because I know me as a teenager would have still thought this was cringy. So who the fuck is this for? Maybe the music's gonna be cool, but man, I just it's one of those where I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it. But like the resources they're allocating to make that game could have went somewhere else to something way better, and it's just so unfortunate that they're not. Number two, this will be another quick one. Number two is Fragpunk. Who in the world went to these studios and fed them motherfuckers the do the same shit potion? Why? Sony just announced Concord, which looks like dog shit, and now Xbox Showcase, they're showcasing Fragpunk. What is with all of these hero shooters that don't even look like they're trying to evolve the gameplay formula in any way? They look like carbon copies of each other for one, but also looks like they're just trying to ride off the Overwatch hype train. Don't get me wrong. Overwatch has had its day, and if you ask me, that day is long gone. But it still has a cult player base for sure. But by and large, Overwatch is still the number one hero shooter right now on the market, other than Team Fortress 2. And Valve won't fix Team Fortress 2, so Godspeed to my TF2 fans, because they're just not cooking over there, unfortunately. The bot problem is so bad. And
And I mean, and not only on top of that, and I'll jump in real quick.
yeah,
I mean, I mean, we've seen other hero shooters that just absolutely bombed. And if I am not mistaken, which please correct me if I'm wrong, Bloodborne wasn't Bloodborne a hero shooter, or am I mixing
no,
my
no, no, no.
games up?
You're thinking of so Bloodborne was the
I
Sony
think
exclusive from Software. Blood, but I want to say Blood was in the name though. Was it? Oh my goodness, hold on. So
I knew I was gonna get it wrong, but that's okay. I'll own up to that later on. But there was a game that I knew recently that I believe you and Zangetsu played, that looked okay, but wasn't.
so I'm trying while we're talking about it, I'm trying to look it up. Uh, Let me just go to a generic. You said me and Zangetsu were playing it too, right?
Believe so. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was some sort of. I want to say it was actually on the Game Pass. I do believe it was on the Game Pass. I think that's why I thought about it. Um, um, but
So I'm not finding anything on it currently.
yeah, I think I may have had it wrong, but that's okay.
And don't get on to my boy here about messing the name up. He doesn't have a PlayStation, never has. So hop off the meat. He's fine. I corrected it. We're all good. Uh,
One of the worst part is that it's gonna be afterwards that I'm gonna remember it, and then I'm just gonna come back into the comments and be like, "It was this game, sorry." Like it's gonna be one of those where it's like, "Oh yeah, now I remember," and
Fucking true, man.
so,
And
but
that
but I mean,
happens.
either way, there's I think there's been at least two or three other hero shooters that didn't even take off. Like you started it, you tried to play it, didn't even take off, and it just was gone. It was done.
Yeah, it's
Um,
a trend because no, the formula is not getting evolved. And another thing too that screams screams corporate greed is the fact that Fragpunk has this new card system. If you have played any game involving cards in the AAA space in the last 10 to 20 years, you know damn well that what comes with a card mechanic is your wallet getting absolutely booped over and over and over and over again. So, good, don't believe me? Ask the sports gamers. Let them tell you. If nobody else will, let them tell you. Because by and large, that is a telltale sign that these companies are going to be releasing all these fucking card packs, and some cards are going to be way more busted than others, but you're going to have to pay for the busted ones. And man, oh god, like even Halo did it. Halo 5 tried this out with their I think they actually also called it Warzone, funny enough, but their massive multiplayer mode that they had in 5, and you had to open up those card packs so that you had weapons and what have you that you could then use the cards to get that equipment in game. So
Mhm.
it's just more of the same shit. So they're about to be booping players' wallets left and right with this one. I can see it in the stars now. And if not, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. But man, enough with the hero shooters, dude. Do something else.
Again, the only hero shooter besides Overwatch that I thoroughly enjoyed, and unfortunately we lost it, Gundam Evolution.
Gundam Evolution.
The only one that really actually put a nice spin on the hero shooter, and without making it like super sweaty.
Right. Because for one, it slowed gameplay down a lot. It was manageable. Thank God.
Right. Not only on top of that, it wasn't like one person was overpowered compared to the other character. I mean, everybody was like evenly balanced.
Yeah, for sure. For
And
sure.
so it's not like, oh, I have to play this person or we're gonna lose, or I have to play this person or we're gonna lose. It was play who you want. Everyone's equal.
100%.
Awesome.
As long as you play the style right. Like Barbatos is a great example. If Barbatos gets in your face in that game, or did get in your face in that game, you were probably screwed. But you catch him out there at a distance, there's nothing he can do. So, and all the characters were like that. For every advantage they had disadvantages. You just had to learn how to properly navigate the battlefield, and you'd do fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So I agree with you. I think the hero shooter needs to stop because I mean, by this point, nothing is going to scream this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, nothing's gonna
Nothing.
scream sauce.
Yeah. None of it. So, um, other than that, there wasn't really much exciting. Not much else exciting about the showcase. I mean, we got more, ESO, another ESO, DLC,
Yeah,
add-on, whatever you want to call it, and it's like, I mean, I get it. ESO is a good game if you're into MMOs, and I mean, I played it for a while and it was a lot of fun, but it just gets to that point where it's like, yeah, all right, it's the same thing. Yeah, it's
yeah,
the same thing.
for sure.
Um, Other than
Fallout
that, I
76
mean,
got one. Sea of Thieves got their expansion 2 announced.
Now, Sea of Thieves is one of those games where it's fun.
Yeah,
Granted, the only issue that I see, which a lot of people have stated before, is if you're gonna play it, make sure you have a couple of hours to play it
yeah,
because it's gonna take that.
exactly.
Like, it's not one of those games where you can go in and play for half an hour and you're fine. You have to play for a couple hours to even get anywhere. There's no point in starting a game if you don't have time.
Yeah, let's play a little Sea of Thieves is not a phrase any Sea of Thieves player has said ever.
No, no. So, but I mean, Sea of Thieves as a whole is a solid game, in my
For
opinion.
sure, yeah.
I think it's a great game. I like how they're adding more and more to it to keep the game going. I think it's perfect to keep the game going. I think they have a lot to ride on right now, and I mean the
Hmm.
game's a couple of years old by this point. I mean it's been
Oh yeah,
out for quite some time, and it's still going strong, in my personal opinion. So really good to see a game like that keep going, um, and continue to keep adding on to it to keep the player base happy. So,
for sure. Yeah, I can agree there.
um, other than that, showcase itself was all right. There's definitely some good ones, as you all heard, and there were some some bad ones, as y'all heard and may not have heard. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think we are in. Um, I think we definitely do have a good lineup of games coming out within the next year or two. And I know for a fact that you're absolutely upset with the fact that most of these games are not coming out till next year.
Yeah, the ones that had a release date or release window rather. all 2025, every single one of them. Even Mecha Breaker, like their beta is coming out in June, but the actual game is also slated for 2025. So it's like, man, like like fuck 2024, I guess, because we just ain't getting hardly shit this year. We ain't getting nothing. And Gears E Day didn't even have a release date, so but it got announced, and you know what? Just that's good enough for me as far as Gears of War goes. So yeah, what there's some stinkers and there was some but what was good in this showcase was really really solid.
Yeah, we're really excited to see where once we get more information and actual release dates and what will become of those games.
110%.
So, all right, man. Well, I think that is all the time that we have today. We
Yep.
appreciate you guys chiming in, listening to us banter for a good, solid hour and a half. We will continue to provide you guys with more content on a weekly basis. We will regularly post when we can. Please check out our social medias. We will pin that down below in the comment section.
Yeah.
Um, and we will see you guys in the next one. I am serious. That is HazMatch, and this has
Hazmatch,
been
baby.
GG Radio.
Yes, sirs. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves.
Have a good one.